Wolf Cave is a challenging and rewarding dungeon in Project Gorgon. In this video, we will be defeating every boss and looting every treasure chest 3 times with 3 different builds. Stay with us until the end to find out how much money was made and which build was the fastest. Starting off, we've got our druid. And so this build, definitely ranged. Druid using as support, but also for DPS on 3 of the skills. Straight nature build. And we'll start with Timothy. We'll go down the corner. First you gotta clear out the hallway. All the wandering mobs. Sure, we'll get a couple more ahead of us. Yep, there's one coming up right now. Some of my skills are able to one-shot these weaker wolves, but I'll have a little bit of trouble once we start reaching the matriarchs. So one of the things, too, I want to focus on is how much money's made on each of these runs. So, you know, showing that Wolf Cave's also a viable place to gather resources, make some money. Oh, you know what, too? Before we get too far, I want to pop an augury. And if you don't have the augury skill, it's like a fortune-telling skill. It's taught by Oshk and Rahu. I use the gallbladder. You need incense to run it, which Oshk also sells. But I run a gallbladder because it gives you a good chance to... Oh, we're not going to make it. We got this guy interrupted us. Gives you a good chance to get magic find. See, these wandering mobs are not letting us have a moment to ourselves. See if we can beat it. Oh, we got a negative augury. And we got maximum armor minus 10%, which is not great for this build because we are running a curse that gives us max armor minus 10% already. Crystallized organs, max health and armor minus 10, but I'd also rather have that than the magic find debuff. Hopefully on the other characters we do this run on, we'll have a little bit better luck with our augury. I'm not going to be picking up every single item that drops, but all of the gear, because primarily what I'm going to be selling is gear, skins, and skulls, and we'll go over that at the end. But we've got all of the skulls here. Oh, I don't want that femur, actually. It's not something I usually carry. Pretty much wherever I'm farming, I also always like to pick up the things on the ground, even if it's something that I don't need, like those broken barrels are almost always maple chips or wood chips of some sort, and I really don't need those. I'm gonna grab all of the chests on this on these runs too. Always gotta check the cheese corner for some free cheese. In fact, we don't have a snack right now, so we'll grab some of this. Got an Ursula somewhere in here. Perfect. Yeah, pick up those skulls that are on the ground, but then, of course, drop them if they're not the demon skulls is really the only ones that we're after. It's this guy right here. So I also want to save my big hit coming up because we've got the boss in this next room. Try and kill him before he reaches us is always the goal. He's got a pretty heavy swing with his staff, but it only hits you if he reaches you because he's melee, obviously. So I always like to think about my rotation before I take on a boss. What's the pattern that I want to use the most? I also got to change a setting real quick. Part of how I do Wolf Cave, because I like to target the matriarchs pretty much first because they stun you and they hit the hardest. But I'll do target. I toggle between target next elite and just target next enemy. Select next elite right here. And then we'll probably switch this out for one of the other builds too. But for two of my builds, I like being able to target on the elite here. So if I drop one of these repulsion barriers, that'll help them stay away from me. But we'll get Timmy first if we can. Yeah, no problem. Got some skulls here to pick up. Demon skull. Those are great because they're worth $250. I save them. No reason other than just they're rare. Nice loot there from Timmy. Oh, missed my loadout. I gotta run all the way back so I can change loadouts. It's tricky when you're trying to swap loadouts for speed, because in this instance, you know, trying to be faster probably made me slower. But that's fine, because we got these guys back at the beginning. And actually, while I'm here, on this character alone, I have Werewolf unlocked. And one of the things that you can do with Werewolf during the full moon from the Wolf Altar here is you can purchase storage in the Wolf Altar. And for me, spending as much time in Wolf Cave as I do, this is actually a really big benefit. As much as I'm not a fan of the werewolf skill, I think there are benefits to running it, to taking it. But I do think I'm just gonna load up all the stuff that I don't immediately need to save up room. I want to keep this Wolf Cave, I'll show you why later. Try and do another little speed boost here without messing up my loadouts too much. Okay, no problem. Got an archer on us. You know, collecting up the skins too is going to be probably where most of the money comes from. Not going to take that solid fork just yet. Sometimes I do catch all runs, but this is, I'm trying to make as few trips back and forth as possible. And when you have the treasure chests on cooldown like this, your inventory actually does fill up pretty fast. I'm just gonna not switch loadouts for these. It's always kind of nice to take out the archers first. I got that second matriarch coming out, so I'm gonna try and keep things off of me a little bit. I might take a death here because he got stunned. Yep, that's okay. It's kind of the name of the game in this dungeon, is if you get stunned, you're probably killed. Definitely staff kind of has a leg up for mitigation because it's all physical damage in this dungeon. Really good place to run staff, and we'll show that in the next run. Get back up to where I was. Kind of glad that matriarch stayed up here from its last location. Normally it would be located in the next room down. Now we can just kind of breeze through this next spot. Always check the recipes from the matriarchs, because they could become, like in this case, 1100 gold. Pretty good deal. This room should be empty, but it might have something in it. Oh, we got a couple guys. And a matriarch right at the door here on the next one. He's going to certainly call for help. We'll get the closer one and then start clinking at the next ones. Avoiding that stun was probably the only thing that kept us alive there, as that matriarch was coming in. Nice, this matriarch's out in the hall here. Usually it's a little farther back, but that's fine. This archer. This guy with the fish gun. Since we're here first, we'll head down this hallway. The spawns can vary a lot in this corner, and oftentimes they can call for help for a lot more than I anticipate. Shooting that blindly is not always the best maneuver, but sometimes it pays out. And in fact, the reality is only 2 came out from that guy. That makes me a little nervous because there's a lot more than 2 wolves back here. This is probably the most dangerous hall in the whole cave. Just because the amount of mobs and matriarchs. It looks like there's mobs straight ahead, there's mobs to the left, and everything's kind of distanced right now. I'm going to get this matriarch first. Yeah, they're going to keep calling for help. I'm going to kite them back a little bit and hope I don't die. See what's coming at us. Oh boy. Yep, that's okay. If we're quick enough with getting back there, we'll be able to beat the respawn and still loot the things that we've already killed. So even if there's a couple mobs here at the beginning like this, I'm going to scoot past them. Make sure you just want to switch loadouts back over before you start attacking things. That way you aren't stuck in your speed loadout when you're trying to kill something. Never works out the same. Okay, so we got a couple bodies to loot here. Yeah, that's crazy because we still had another matriarch and other things chasing us when we died this time. So Cosmic Strike's up, which means I can one-shot this matriarch. That's why I like to be able to target it. This hall's really optional, but I like to clear it out just because there's so many skins to be had back here. Make sure X can always drop good stuff too. Alright, that's it for this corner. Head up towards the lava pit. But there's definitely going to be at least 2 matriarchs on the way. One right here, yeah. Let's see what we can get with a fish gut. This part can be a little bit tricky to navigate. The camera likes to kind of auto-rotate a little bit, but if you kind of take it the vantage point, you can see it's almost like a double ramp. It's like a switchback if you're a trail hiker. So as long as you kind of know which way you're going, it's easier to figure out where you need to be. So there's a treasure chest up here that's guarded by drakes. The little sandworms that throw the fireballs. And I have the key to the chest on me. And the way you do that is you just get the key and you don't loot the chest with it. But when you keep the key on you, it just spawns the... Because you're not allowed to get the chest without fighting the drakes, essentially, is the plan for what they want. So because I have the key, now the drakes are going to spawn directly in front of us. But the reason why I do it this way is these drakes actually are lootable. Whereas the other ones that spawn, I'll show you in a second, aren't. These guys always have decent loot. The scales are worth, 100, 200 respectively. They can drop oils and pretty good chance of magical gear too. Didn't get too lucky on this run, but that's okay. We got 2 more to go. And then I'll just loot this chest. And then obviously now I'm without a key. But that's okay. Because we're about to get our other one. Oh, you can see we got a full inventory, so typically what I'll do is I'll find stuff to drop that either I didn't mean to pick up or just has really low value. And I need to head to Karnag next before I head back. So the other thing I do is I'll just take white items And I'll start dropping the white items that I've picked up. Actually, we haven't gotten a whole lot of them. If I wasn't working on getting through this, you know, quicker rather than slower, I'd probably make another trip back to the treasure chest at the start. So here's how the drakes normally spawn. I've grabbed the key out of that chest, and these drakes pop up, but you can see they disappear once you kill them. And so that's the intention, is that you get this chest after killing those drakes, but since we had the key starting, we still had to fight the drakes, but we get the key. Thinks we're going towards the chest. We gotta fight more drakes. You can skip the drakes on the second time around, especially since you can't loot them. This hall's pretty dangerous, but we'll see if I can navigate it. Definitely that repulsion barrier giving us a little bit of a leg up here. Keeps the attacks off. So, oh boy. We got double stunned there. Oh, we survived it. And now, just because our inventory is just about full and I've got another boss and treasure chest to pick up before we loot, I want to only pick up magical items. Elven lilies are something I pick up too, though. Actually, more so than the rarity, it should be paying attention to where are these guys coming from. Get out of here. Get out of here. 3 of them? That's a death trap. Yeah, the archers are even probably still the scariest thing to encounter here. It's not even as much the matriarchs, although their stun is pretty nasty. But more so than a rarity, I should be setting a dollar amount per inventory slot in my inventory. One-shot Karnag there, but he's going to call for his friends, so I'm just going to sit here and wait for him. Okay, so I gotta find another slot or two to get rid of. Something worth the least amount. Actually, probably this guy, the $100 yellow one. Fruit cases, I always like to take the fruit cases. Now we're over full on inventory, but that's fine. No barrels of liquid in this room. But those are also good to clear out too. I'm sure we'll find some eventually. I'm sure someone's going to see something in here I've skipped or dropped and be like, hey, I need that. But, I mean, really, at the end of the day, take whatever it is you need. Especially when you can't take everything. And this is usually the loop that I like to do on the top floor. After I've killed Timothy, I'll probably just keep doing the lava hallway to this room. Kill Karnag. Karnag's the only boss that I usually camp. Yeah. Full inventory, but that's fine. Now that everything in here is dead, what I'll just do is I'll switch to my pocket loadout and pick it all up. We can dump it off in storage. I still like to pick up the things, even if it's not something I'm going to want, just because it has a chance to respawn into anything else. My FPS are tanking right now, I'm not sure why. Alright, let's do a recall beginning. I like to keep just everything that I'm going to sell in this first folder. That way I can slap that organize sword inventory button, and it really does clean things up for you. Makes it predictable too. So I'm going to pull out some of these things that I might have in my inventory. Free up some spots. Or at least bring out the things that'll stack, right? And all these things don't stack, so I'll fill those up. Okay, so we've got this much inventory space left. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. So we'll probably have to skip anything green that we pick up from here on out and just really focus on the high value items and of course everything that stacks. Yeah, I think we'll probably set just blue as the threshold for rarity. Yeah, I'd say if that lava hall, getting to it is the most dangerous spot in this dungeon, the second most dangerous spot's coming up. It's right as you drop to the second floor, can be pretty treacherous. Tough Sephiroth are always great too. Notice I've gotten a ton of those this run. $1,100 recipe right there. Don't see the matriarch yet, so I want to save my cosmic strike until he pops in. Must be farther down the hill if he wasn't in the line of sight. There he is. He's going to call for help when I hit him too, so I want to make sure I'm ready for what's coming up. Oh, we'll get that archer first, actually. A much better way to do these two rooms, but really, I mean, the points where they spawn and who's going to call for help is completely different every time, which is great, because there's not just a set way to do any of this. Keeps it interesting. Look at this guy with fish gut. Should be a couple more mobs in this room. Oh, we already got that guy. Didn't even see him. That's you know you've got a decent build when you don't realize how many things you've just killed. I've got two of the builds we see I have that feeling with, like, all the time I go to loot and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize there was an extra one. So right here is a bit tricky. This build probably struggles the most. I really want to get caught up on the ledge here. I have to assume this was intended to be done similar to this, because this bottom fall right here is so nasty. But what I want to do, because I'm ranged, I just want to cheese these guys from up here for a second before I make the final drop. And then after that, we're fine to continue as normal. But making that drop right into 4 of these things, obviously the mantises stun a lot, the matriarchs stun a lot, and everything does a lot of damage. It's this is the squishiest of all of my builds that I have. It's also the heaviest damage dealing. See if we can get this guy up ahead. Shoutouts to Tamik there in chat. Thanks for the offer. I'll be hitting her up later. Yeah, that's a nice little rotation there. That worked out about perfect. None of those guys reached me. Stun me. We got a belt. I always check the belts just in case it's one, I want it to be magical belt. Like the one we have is magical. But two, sometimes you get just like a rare belt. It's nice to have those. Oh, I didn't want that skull. Shame on me. Must have missed that werewolf from the past room, which is fine. Well, if I hit this guy, he's going to call for everyone, and I can switch targets to the matriarch quickly. Sometimes you just can't get that good angle. But one of the most important things when running into any multiple mob combat, just make sure that you're entering it, you know, aware of the situation, and really enter it on your terms. If you're creeping in and something gets you from the side, if you can, as best as you can, you want to kind of retreat and regather your thoughts, because yeah, the battle can get pretty intense in this game. I'm sure anyone that's, you know, watching this video and wanting to learn something further, I'm sure you've encountered points where you know, both wins and losses where you get a little bit overwhelmed. You know, and always think, if I would have done this, I might have been able to survive it. Pick up all this stuff. I can't believe we haven't found any barrels of liquid yet. Hopefully we get one in the next room. A lot of this stuff is just junk, but sometimes you get something good. I don't need cave fish right now, but certainly the couple pools, the 3 pools we've passed now, are all pretty good about giving you cave fish. This looks like it's going to work out about perfectly. Okay, so I got a bottle away. What I'm after is the resistance potions mostly. Those are probably the best things you can get from the barrels of liquid. Best being a fire shield potion. So there's a whole bunch of different ways people fall from here. You gotta either go slow. This build's nice because I got something that can kill that guy before he even reaches us. But typically what I do on this build is I'm fast enough to jump the whole gap, and I will fall to the side oftentimes if I don't. If I try to, you know, manage my speed, it's sometimes you jump farther or shorter than you think you did. But I know that with this build, I'm able to run and jump at max speed with a little bit of give. So that's the most reliable way. Sure, I fall every once in a while, but most times I make that jump quickly. Yeah, this looks like inventory-wise is going to work out about perfectly. For whatever reason, these 3 humans here also give up to the highest level of human anatomy. So if you don't have your human anatomy maxed, those 3 right there. I think I can 2-shot this guy. No problem. And now that we're full on inventory, it's fine. I just switch to my pocket gear. Alright, then the only thing left to do is just to recall beginnings and pick up all of my loot out of the chest. And then we'll go sell, and at the end of the video we'll find out how much we made on each of these runs and add it all together. See how full our inventory is too. This system for me works pretty good. I'll probably only have a couple slots open. Yeah, I've just got 2 slots open with a full inventory ready to sell. So that worked out nicely, and now we're going to go ahead and sell and switch to the other character. Here we are with the second build. We've got Staff Druid. This one I'm probably the most trained on. Spent the most hours running this build. And I would say that this one's also been tweaked a little bit for this exact dungeon. So it's probably going to be the fastest. A little bit more movement speed. I've got pocket gear on it. And I've also got magic find. Speaking of which, let's do our augury. No wolf on this character, though, so I don't have access to the altar. Oh, Ursula. I can't close this window or it'll stop the augury, so I gotta wait for it to end. She didn't drop us anything too good, though. Okay, so let's see what we got. 8% chance for non-magical loot to be lucky. So hopefully we can make use of that, and we'll see if it reflects in the final number. Really, it's just the same process as before. I don't know if someone came in here between switching around, so there might be less wandering mobs, which shouldn't be too big of an issue. Over the last build, too, this certainly has more AoEs, because the last one didn't have any at all. It already feels like I'm getting more magical loot. Beyond just the augury, I'm also running 3 magic find items on top of it with this specific loadout. Oh, I don't want that. Yeah, there is someone else in here, which might affect the final number of what we get, but it's not going to make a big difference. It's 10 logs, that's always a good find. Always want to pick up everything just so it can spawn something else. And we did get a cheese, so I think the cheese might even be better than my piece of candy I just ate. So let's pile that on there. Keep hearing someone's Ursula. That's great. Might be ours that ran around or something. And we'll see if we can get Timothy, depending on who's been in here. Yeah, it looks clear so far. I'm surprised he didn't call for help, but it's fine. This build's a little bit different, too. I'm not as much trying to take on things one at a time as I am really trying to run in there and make things, get hit from thorns, but also throw out blocking stance, so I'm not taking damage. So Timothy's up. Pay attention to my pattern just a little bit. There's the guys. I want to make sure I've got blocking stance going into this because he hits hard. So I've got a pattern where I make him vulnerable, stun him, hit him a lot, and then I end with a rage reducer so he doesn't have his final hit on me. And looks like we weren't able to get him before he stunned us, but it's, shortly afterwards. Still not too tough of a fight. Check the ground for any obstacles. Nope, nothing to get. And you'll see I really do have more or less the same style of loadouts between each build. It's just easy to... Well, each character, because it's separate characters, it's easier for me to swap around between them. Got a big pile of guys right here. Let's just bring them all together. It's always good to hear those dings. Want to save my big hits for the matriarchs to come. There's a purple, could be from the augury. Snag this chest here. Okay, I want to wait just a second for my blocking stance. What I found to be efficient with this build is actually, because I'm always waiting on cooldowns, this build is long cooldowns, but it's very, very capable in short bursts. So I like to bring up both rooms together here. With my blocking stance up, I should be able to finish off most of these guys before I start taking damage. And then I'll just probably have the archers left. I'm taking damage now, so... pretty much same thing's true for this next room. I can even bring these guys with me to fight these matriarchs. Phase of the moon recipe. That's why you always got to check it. Looks like a red rose seed there, though. We'll take that. Okay, so we've got this guy there. I think what I'm going to do, because once again, this build is able to be played a bit different. I want to hit this guy. He's going to call for help. I want to drag everyone into this room. And actually, fighting down in this pit's pretty good because it forces things into the room. And I got a third matriarch here, so this is a bit treachery, but we'll get Ursula to help us. We'll see if we can survive it. Looks like we're okay. Yeah, there's no way that the other build can take on... There's Ursula. Three matriarchs, you know... certainly can take on three matriarchs from a range on our own terms, but not running into a room with a third one coming in would have spelled certain death. So that's certainly one of the highlights of the staff skill. Another Elven Lily. Another Elven Lily. Great. The inventory's still more than half open, which is wonderful too. Got Karnag here. Love it when they look vulnerable. Nice. 2 purples there. I'm not quite sure because the augury does specify, it says non-magical loot turns into purples. My instinct tells me that you just get more purples, like just period. If it's, you know, it's hard to say what's triggering what, but when you get a purple from a boss, I don't know if it's just coincidence or if the augury does have influence over it. Man, we are getting tons of Ursulas today. Let's grab all these guys at once. I've seen quite a few white jewelry. That seems to be the cheapest pieces of gear you'll pick up. So here's a bottle. Make me strong juice. I'm just going to drink it. Really just looking for those resistance potions. But here's another barrel. We got a fire resistance potion. Cool. So I put that in my other folder because I don't want to get rid of it. That's not something I want to accidentally sell. We'll head down to the lava hall next. Oh, this can be risky, but that's fine. I want to go for this matriarch first. Let's see who else comes. If there's any archers coming, then you can just back up a little bit. Drag them around the corner. Oh, lucked out, not many archers. None of those were seeds we wanted. We do have one archer there. I want to take out the archer after this matriarch. Well, I guess that's all that was left after the matriarch, but yeah, that's usually my strategy, is take out the matriarchs if I can get them down quickly, and then I really want to start taking out those archers. Ranged is obviously a bit easier to handle the archers, but as long as you're paying attention to where they're at and what they're doing, it's usually not as bad. This corner is always pretty bit crowded, a little bit tight on the camera angles. I don't want that perch. I do want that perch, but I don't want that perch. We'll have to drop those later. Another Faces of the Moon. as much as I think this build is advantageous to this specific dungeon over the other two builds, I do struggle probably the most with the drakes on this build. You can see they already popped up right there, but I've got the key on me up here. The fire one puts that DOT on you, so I do like to take him out first. But he's also super resistant to fire, so we'll open up with a Cosmic Strike and just watch our hit points and try not to get stunned. That's some of it, is just, these guys will stun you. Wait till we're on a combat, get this chest there. Perfect, still got enough room probably to do the bottom. We might have to drop some things at the end. Oh, this is risky because you don't want to get the poisons stacked on you. I got 1. That's not so bad. These poisons last for like 30 seconds. There's a purple ring. This is the only place you'll get, what was that? Shoddy skins or whatever they are. Got another poison DOT. We can't get this chest until it's gone. Just watch your hit points and try not to die. And I think I will skip the drakes this time because, like I said, this build struggles a bit more just because, honestly, because it's range. Melee versus range. Range is going to win every time. Look how much damage that is, though. I mean, that's a ton. I had to heal twice. Okay, wait till we're out of combat. Their key. And let's get out of here. I don't know if he's an ice drake or what, but thank goodness he doesn't freeze your feet, so. Alright, so we got Karnag, we got this chest, a little bit inverse since last time, and we got some respawn here. I don't want to call for everyone at once. Blocking stance was down. But I also want to be mindful of keeping my big hits for the drop down, because this one we do just drop right down. Smell a fireball on the sidebar. Nice, let's hope that's purple. It sure is. Okay, so I need to wait for blocking stance, but this one I'm not really concerned about. If I toss blocking stance, I can actually grab both groups right away and kill them pretty quickly. It's just nice to kind of angle the camera so you can see where you're heading a little bit. We're going to get a couple stuns here from these mantises, but that's okay. Because we'll still take him out with thorns, mostly. Oh, we got him. We got him before we got stunned. Nice. Yeah, every room you really just want to gather everything up, and then there's always a guy down in the water. Didn't want the mantis claw. This looks like it'll work out pretty good for our inventory, and we do have a belt we can add for another, I think, 8 slots. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. So there's the matriarch. But I want to make sure I grab everything in the room for this. Whoops. Didn't grab a ring. Nice, another barrel of liquid. Hulking gel. Hope we don't die. It can give you a heart attack. I've actually died to the heart attack from it, which is kind of fun. It says like minuscule chance of heart attack and it just instantly kills you. And a bottle of milk will drink it. Wait just a second, because the two matriarchs, it's, you know, this is maybe one of the other instances where the other build is a touch faster. Single target stuff is the other build's quicker for sure. Another barrel. What'd we get? Make me strong juice. We are right at that full inventory spot, so just because I know we're going to hit something else, we'll add those 8 slots we have. And then for this build, the strategy for jumping across is I actually aim for the second pillar, because otherwise I'll jump right through it. So I usually do that, and then there. But you don't want to fall, obviously. If you fall, you have to recall beginnings or suicide or go to the middle of Kerr or whatever you end up doing. Another belt. Ooh, look at this. A lucky belt of nice reward, and it's magical. That's actually a pretty good find. I'm going to hold on to that one. Might sell it in the player shop or give it to a guild mate. Yeah, that's why I always look at belts. We got Scion. Scion shouldn't be too challenging. Should be just one rotation. Stunner so she can't do anything to me. Yeah, rinse repeat. So that's the full run on this build. We didn't have anything in storage, so we don't need to stop by there. Once again, that's funny how it works out. Look at that. We got 2 spots left. We picked up just about everything worth keeping. I got a couple things I don't want. All right, so we're going to go sell, and then we'll check in at the end of the video to see what we made on this run. For the third build, we're doing Fire Druid. Before we get going, there's a guy right ahead. Looks like he just died, actually, so I think we'll just cruise past him. He's obviously just hanging around this front spot. Forgive me a little bit. I am a bit rusty with this build, but it should be fully capable of doing this. Oh, before we get too far, let's do our augury. Once again, we're pretty diminished on pockets here. It looks like we got 12% chance for white items to become purple, so that's pretty good too. As you can see, we're at almost 1200 armor here. So we're going to rely a lot on thorns and AoEs with this run. Funny, it seems like we have more wandering mobs on this one than the last one. Yeah, the defense makes a big difference. This is my heaviest defensed character right now. Looks like I'm pretty decked out on the Healing Sanctuary mods too, which will be nice. Oh, even better, what a treat. We actually, so the one thing that we didn't do on the other runs is we'll end up making an extra 10 or 12k because we have the Casino Daily quest. Today's not the daily, but I did grab the daily prior to this event. This is just my first time running it since that daily took place. Which I'll be real with you, I have no idea how long ago that was. Pickled brain here. Someone brought it all the way from Brainbug Cave. Yeah, a little bit slower. A little bit less damage, but it's just a different build. It's more of an AoE build. And this one might be able to do similar things in other dungeons as opposed to the other two builds that we already saw. Heavy on the power resources, but I've got druid's a pretty good battery pack. And once I've got battles long enough to actually warrant dropping the healing sanctuary, we should probably see some pretty good ongoing healing from it. Let's see what we've got on there. So we've got 1 power, 2 health, and 1 armor on there, so we're missing some of the mods for it, but it should be more than enough. So here's Timothy's. I think in this one I will try and grab these 2 wolves first, just because I really don't know what to expect with this build. I know it can do it, but it might struggle a little bit more than the other ones. Yeah, it looks like our health and armor is doing just fine. With all the rage buildup we have with fire magic. I mean, our health and armor is not even dipping. That's crazy. Yeah, but we're getting just pretty much non-stop stuns from Timothy, keeping his rage bar at full. But really, that wasn't any harder than the other ones, just maybe a little bit longer. I honestly think the toe-to-toe battles are a little bit more fun, too. Something about them. Yeah, our fire breath's doing some pretty good damage. This isn't even like maximized or anything. This is just really a fun build of, if anything. It's got some natural speed built into it with the flesh to fuel mods. Love fighting prisms in here. Oh, that's our first sulfur, I think. We found a saltpeter before. So up on this one, I do think probably a good strategy is going to just be make sure that healing sanctuary is up and just keep the AoEs coming. Oh yeah, no problem at all. So I could wait for Healing Sanctuary, but I think I'm just going to bring these guys up to me. Yeah, not bad at all so far. I think we had a death by this time on the Bard build. This room should be cleared out. Is that one of our tombstones? Nope. Not this time. Oh, only one matriarch. Sometimes there's only one matriarch in this room. You know, this wouldn't be a bad move to run the repulsion barrier on. I don't think I have any of the inks with me, but I think the repulsion rune should do pretty well. Do I have any inks on me? No, it doesn't look like I do. Oh, there he is. Hello. There's a purple. See, is that from the augury or not? We'll start down this hall. This is definitely the riskier way to go. I don't want them to call for too much help, but... Oh, this might be it. No, we're still up. Oh, nice. He used his rage heal instead of his rage stun. Wow. That went a lot better than I thought it would. You know, I think at the end of the day, these are all DPS builds, but they're just the, obviously the elements and the utility of it all kind of varies by each different, main skill that we're using. And of course, within those, there's so many different ways to play Bard. There's so many different ways to play Staff and Fire Magic as well. Really all comes down to personal preference. You kind of want to try everything and just see what, works for you. My strategy is probably not going to be the same for anyone else running the same build. This is going to be a risky room. Oh man, that healing sanctuary saved our butts. That was close. Oh, we got that archer too. I didn't see. Second archer. You know, it is nice, too, to kind of have that thing while you're looting. Get those extra couple ticks off of that healing sanctuary. Belt of the Crypt Keeper. Not a bad combo. Ice Magic, Necromancy. Just not something I play. Not yet, at least. That way's all cleared out. Oh, and it looks like we pulled most of the guys from there. This is risky, but I think I want to bring these guys all together. Not too bad. I am a little bit nervous for the drakes up here. That fire drake's pretty resistant to fire magic. I don't know if he's immune. We'll check in a second. Get those snails, those are easy. Very ineffective as fire. And I don't have a lot of damage outside of fire with this one. I've got a trauma and a poison, and I think that's it. But let's start on these snails. I don't know if they'll call for help. Let's see. Just for each other. That's perfect. Nice snail loot. I'm a little nervous for that injector bog. I don't know if I can reach him from here. I don't want to get hit by the drakes. Yeah, those guys are going to come when I start the drake battle. Oh, come on. Splash of water. Okay, he's on me. Let's just run in. Oh, that's not good if we're not by the heal. Oh man, these guys are just tearing me apart. Oh, almost dead. I don't know if we can make it, though. Come on, come on. Oh, we did it. Holy crap, that was close. Nice loot, too. Alright, let's do the, Either, actually, we got a little bit of inventory space left still, which is nice. Red roses? Outstanding. You know, one of the things too, all of these builds are, even the fire magic one, are running off of very cheap, inexpensive food. Borderline free. Those, the cave cheese was free. And the Lombus brick is about the equivalent of a cave cheese. It's not that impressive. And those are for purchase from one of the NPCs in Ilmari. It's my go-to because it lasts for 3 hours. That's the main reason why I enjoy it. I just don't have to spend too much on it. This could be pretty risky. I think I want to bring in just a few at first. That's perfect, actually. Oh wow, that's a pretty rare recipe. Inks for special occasions 4. Probably toss that in the guild chest. That's something that someone might really need. And I really don't find a whole lot of those in Wolf Cave, to be honest. Okay, so I got Healing Sanctuary I want to toss down first, and then I'm just going to start my AoEs out. Getting a little bit full on inventory. Gotta pick up all these things for the next run. And even if it's not, even, you know, say that this is the last time I plan on doing a Wolf Cave run today, it's also, you know, it's nice to get the garbage out of the way, because maybe no one else picks it up until next time, or, you know, pay it forward and someone else might get the Fire Shield potion that you're looking for. Just gonna get rid of those out of the inventory. In fact, while I'm at it, I got a bunch of stuff that I know isn't going to sell for a lot, so I'm not going to hold on to. No wolf altar on this one too, so even though we're pretty close to out of inventory slots, not a problem, because I do have pocket gear that I'll have to just, I know I dropped a lemon, to replace the armor that I'm wearing. So obviously I'll take a hit both damage-wise and certainly defense-wise when I'm swapping out, you know, I think Shamanic Infusioned Treachery armor. Yeah, this has got Shamanic on it, on a GK gear, for just pocket cloth. I think with no mods on it, so we'll see a dip when that happens, but that's still fine. Honestly, I'm saving the snails, but I don't want to have to drop things that I would sell. So maybe I'll come back for those, or maybe someone else will grab them. Alright, time to do the drop. You know, I really probably could just do the drop. I think we're going to try that. Worst case scenario, I got to run back to this part. I don't think I want the grass. Take a second here on inventory. It's hard to get rid of prisms. I might have to later, but I want to hold on to them for now. Who knows, maybe we'll just get junk loot for the rest of the run. Alright, here we go. So I want to definitely pop my Healing Sanctuary the second I land. Oh, that's not good. Oh, we got one of the Cymantises we needed. 2 of them. Yeah, I think this is fine. Nice, another purple. Ancient Stencil, those are worth 250. And they stack, definitely worth picking up. You know, I always set a money threshold. Usually a rarity one, which kind of goes hand in hand. But usually it's around 200 gold for this dungeon of what I do and don't pick up. Oh, that's done. We're all full on inventory, so we might have to drop some of those prisms. One of the nice things about this build as opposed to the staff druid one is a lot slower cooldowns. It's not nearly as cooldown intensive. No epic attacks in this one. Not even running a cosmic strike. I do think I want to drop it. Since I got 2 of the mediums and those are much more valuable for me, I think I am going to drop that small prism. Seems like there's just less magical loot on this run, which is completely fine. I mean, it happens. You roll the dice, and sometimes you're just having an off day too. Not that the loot has anything to do with that. Oh, I didn't have my healing sanctuary up for that. Thought I did. Could have ended worse. Yeah, this is, it's funny how powerful, you know, a build that I stopped playing long ago. Sometimes you just need to come back to it with a fresh set of eyes. But it definitely is fully capable. This is the first take, and I'll admit I was expecting to, on this one I kind of resigned mentally that maybe I'll have to do this one more than once and wait 3 hours for the chests to respawn and everything. Can't talk too soon. I haven't made the gap jump, and I'm a little nervous for it too because I really don't know the strategy on this build. But for these guys, I do want to think I just want to hit them with all my AoEs. Ursula's helping. Not too bad. Yeah, this is also a very heavy Thorns build. Not that it's you know, fire magic's strong in many different elements, but this is definitely a Thorns build. So here's my loadout with all my same skills, but everything's going to hit for a lot less. So I might do this just to hop the gap and then switch back loadouts for the final battle. Oh boy, I hope we make this. I don't feel super fast, so I think I am going to just do this, I guess what would be the traditional way. There we go. To be honest, of all the ways I cross this gap, the way I just did it right there, where you do one hop at a time, makes me the most nervous. I've certainly fallen the most to that strategy. Just slap up Molten Veins. This shouldn't take too long. There's purple. We'll be slow for this battle, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to move. We're going to make him come to us. Oh, great. Look at this. You can just switch loadouts to pick it all up. And I mean, that's something that certainly I could use for this build if I needed to, because it will trigger... Oh, no, I won't. I can't, because this staff won't trigger druid. So that's something that's really just for selling. Do a recall beginnings, and then no wolf storage to loot out. So we'll just do a quick recall, and then we'll go sell this, and we'll add up all the numbers at the end, and that's, man, that's all of them, I guess. Just finishing up selling my spoils from the Bard Druid run. The last thing I have to do here is barter my skulls that we picked up. You get a 50% value increase by bartering with Murder Dark Skeleton here with impressive skulls or higher. As you can see, we'll be just under 50k for this run, it looks like. Oh, just over. Just at 50k. So 50k for this first run. Just driving in Serbial to sell the last little bit from the Staff Druid run. Looks like we're going to have netted a little bit less than the other run, but I think that some of that, you know, we also didn't drop any gear on the ground. We dropped a ton of gear in the other one. Had a guy in there fighting stuff at the entrance. Not that it stole mobs from us, but it's less than we would have done. And I also think this run was a bit quicker. So about 5k less, well really about 4.5k less on this run, with 45,000 total. Not bad though, not bad at all. Just selling up on the Fire Druid run, the last little pieces here. And I ran some numbers that we can take a look at here in a second. So I need to sell the skins, the potions, and trade the skulls. Skeleton's not wandering, which is always nice. Oh, looks like we won't get full price for this one. 650, so we're gonna miss 150 on that. That's fine. So it looks like we made 38k on the third run. So if you add up all of the runs together, 38,491 on this one. A total of 134,000 gold made on these three runs combined. And then a couple stats that might be interesting to know. I did look at the time lengths for each of the runs, and the first one with Bard was 28 minutes long. The second one so 28 minutes long, and I got 45k. The second run, I'm sorry, I got 50k. That was the one that I got the most on. But the second run was only 18 minutes long, and I got 45k. So certainly that was the most efficient and quickest one, was the Staff Druid. And then on this run, it was 23 minutes, so it was still 5 minutes shorter than the first run, and we got 38k. So it seems like minute for minute they are all pretty close, but I think that just the speed in Magic Find probably wins out for time to cost length of all of it. But many variables go into it. Sometimes the RNG's bad, sometimes there's people in the dungeon for it. So that concludes it, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I do stream occasionally on Twitch. Check out ProCatPG on Twitch, and if you guys are interested in this type of content, definitely leave a comment in the description. Let us know. We'd be happy to make more videos like this. See you guys next time.